Yo, what's good with it? He's Greg. I'm your boy Robert. We are the All Out of Fucks podcast. What's good with it? What you been up to, man?
Man, trying to recover. The weather done changed up on me. Now I sound like one of them old people like, oh, the weather done changed. I
I
don't
feel
feel
it in my bones.
yeah, I feel it in my bones. I knew it was getting fall when the weather changed up. I basically,
That's a very old statement.
man, I'm telling you, I really only get sick when the weather changes in the fall time and in the summer, not even in the spring.
Yeah, the anti-vaxxers would say it too. Well, what the fuck did you get the vaccination for if you're gonna still get sick in the fall?
I know they'll be sitting there saying, "You see,
That don't make no sense.
I don't make no sense. Why you get sick? Why the weather change up? Why you getting sick? Okay, well the anti-vaxxers can go fuck themselves, and I don't have to explain shit to them. So but no, I literally I've been trying to fight it ever since Saturday, and then it hit me, and I was just like, okay, all right, it's officially fall. I'm down, so all that good warm weather, y'all might as well get rid of that right now, cause
It's done. It's supposed to be down in the 30s tonight. I was like, oh yeah, it's time.
yeah, heat needs to be turned on. If y'all trying to hold off, give it up, buddy. Give it up. Turn that shit
It's
off.
time. It's time. But before we jump into this shit, hey, we appreciate y'all as always. Thanks for checking in, for subscribing, for downloading, whatever you're doing, however you enjoying the episode. Go ahead and check out all the old episodes. We on season 2. We well into the season, so there's plenty of content out there for y'all to check out. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. We appreciate y'all. But man, it's been a okay week, man. I feel like my energy is low a little bit though. I think it's just this pandemic shit and just a 1-year-old and 3-year-old wearing my ass down. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I was about to say.
without a break. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, truthfully, for you, a lot of it is the fact that it's the 1-year-old and 3-year-old. If you think about it, you went from actually, having a social life, talking with adults on a regular basis, to sit there with a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old, and the longest conversation is probably about Coco Melon or some bullshit.
Nigga, like you're right. This is you and I, when we record these shows, this is the longest I probably talked to an adult outside of work. You know what I'm saying? So it's you're right. And then half of it is a fucking battle with the 3-year-old, man. Like he's just people was not lying when they said 3 is worse than 2. Like it's absolutely worse than 2. Like because now he can talk about more shit and he talks more shit.
Right.
Like, so it's just kind of like, and he's 3, so he didn't fully understand shit. So he's just saying shit that he didn't learn at fucking daycare or whatever else. So you looking at him like if you a little bit older, I knew you understood this shit, that'd be your ass. But like I find it hard because you know how it's funny. I can think back now on like grandmothers and people smacking you for saying some smart shit. But here's the thing, like when you think about it, that don't make no fucking sense because a 3-year-old don't know what the fuck they're saying. They're just saying dumb shit. Like they'll say dumb shit like, I hate you, mommy and daddy. Like, really? You hate me? You just asked me for some fucking strawberries and blueberries a little while ago, and you just wanted to color with me all afternoon.
But
right,
you
so,
hate me.
obviously, I don't know. Right. Obviously, I don't know what the fuck they're saying, right? So
Right.
that's what I told my wife. I said, as far as, we're in that phase now where we're incorporating some physical discipline, not much at all, and I only do it for very severe circumstances. So, for instance, if he hits his mother or something like that, or his life is in danger, that's the only time I'll contemplate spanking him. And it's usually like a controlled spank or something like that. But
Right.
outside of that, I'm not physically disciplining him for talking back because it's different. He just don't understand the fuck you're talking about. Now, if you're middle school, teenager, I'm whooping your ass. But if you're talking shit, because you know what the fuck you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
But a 3-year-old, his brain ain't even developed. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The fight is their brain isn't developed, but the part of their brain that is developed, depending on how intelligent the kid is, they slightly get away with shit. Like my granddaughter, like she be on that shit. She be bullying people, and she knows she be bullying people. Like she will puff her chest up, get in your face, and talk her shit, but she be talking her shit like she telling you some shit, and you be like, wait, and she be like, look, no. Yum yum shim damn shim. I'm like, no, see, you gonna get the bass about your voice. Like, number one, you're not just gonna roll up on me and then ball up your fist and talk this shit. So knowing that type of stuff, because I literally watched her walk in the kitchen and there's a bunch of people in the kitchen and in her way. Now she knows how to say excuse me or whatever, but I literally watched her walk in the kitchen and literally push somebody out her way. Like, you in my way, get the fuck out my way. I was like, no, we ain't doing that. So I go up there to her and look, and I'll push her. I'm like, see, you don't like that, do you? Yeah, we don't do that. We don't just push on people. So she be looking at me like, this nigga crazy. Everybody else be talking to me, telling me no. I'm like, no, you gonna learn today, and there's gonna be some hands-on contact. You either gonna learn how to do some football. So
yeah, and I feel you, but I never thought I'd be this person, but I pay so much of shit attention to it now.
right,
Like, there really isn't anything to support that. Like, and what you're doing ain't really physical discipline. That's just kind of like physical reinforcement. But like
right.
physical discipline, shit don't actually work. If you think about it, it's just not logically. It don't fucking make sense. It may create a visceral response to just the physicality, but there ain't a lesson being learned there. So it's gonna shift to some other bullshit.
Well,
Like,
the
and
only
that's
lesson they learn
or
is the fear. Is that's the only
right.
thing that they learn is to fear whatever that response is. Then they don't even know why they're getting that, response. They just know to
So,
fear it. Yeah.
but what I found with my 3 year old, I can't take shit away now that because he likes shit. See, remember I used to tell you that you couldn't discipline his ass because he didn't care shit. He care about shit.
Right.
He cares about shit now. There's certain shit he wants to do. So like, if the struggle all day is like he got shit that he wants to do, I'm gonna take this shit away. I give it to him in a choice. I said, look, dude, you got a choice. You can either have this shit for the rest of the day, or I'm gonna take it away when you don't listen. And he looked at me like, I said, and I ask for confirmation, be like, do you understand me? He'll look at me,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, do you understand me? Yes or no? He'd be like, yeah. So like, so because you're just trying, and it's a full day of that shit all day. So, and like, so I mean, it's just kids are raising kids is some wild shit, man. Like, but um, and even as a parent, you get I, the adage that it's gonna hurt me more than it's gonna hurt you. I fully understand now because I had to spank my son once, like one spank because he hit his mother, right?
Right.
And so I can't have that. I'm not gonna tolerate that shit. But so, and it wasn't anything. I wasn't mad. So, and I think that's the key. Like, I think a lot of times our parents did shit when they was mad and they disciplined us because they was frustrated and mad. I think that you can't do that. You gotta have a strategy to that shit. But
Right.
and it's
Right.
one little smack, and the shit shocked. I think it more shocked him than anything because he was like, "Oh, what the fuck just happened?" Like, so, but we sat down and talked about it afterwards. It was just, and I gave him a hug. I said, "Look, man, like, this isn't something you can do," and we ain't really had that problem again. But you can't just be. Some parents are out here just doing this shit because they frustrated because they sucked at work and shit, and they coming back frustrated, or maybe they mad because they can't, the bills ain't meeting or some shit like that, so they
Right.
take it out on the kid when the kid does some shit because they're frustrated. That you can't do. I feel like our parents' generation, I think they did a lot more of the frustration beatings
Well, yeah.
than our generation does because I think we understand shit a little bit more. They were just kind of like fucking pissed off and beating your ass because you're pissing me off,
Right. You
right?
done
So,
came in here and fucked around and did some shit at the wrong goddamn time. I'm gonna whip
right,
your ass because I'm sleeping.
right, right, right.
Right. Just like, what the fuck?
So, so yeah, I mean, anybody listening know raising kids is there's no manual for this shit. You just out here trying to figure this shit out. What works for your kid? I don't know what the 1 year old is gonna be like. He's just he's so fucking strong and shit. Like he's playful and strong, like a little Shaq. So Like we call him Bam Bam and shit because he be out here he's just so rough. Like the 3-year-old come in and push his ass, and he just look at him like, whatever, dude. Like I'm about to take this toy anyway. So like it's gonna be fun watching them get older. Then so that's why I gotta make sure I'm in good health. I had my annual checkup. I had that. I gotta get some. I gotta get some shit together. Not a lot. Just my blood pressure was a little high.
Mm.
And she was like, "You stressed out?" I said, yeah."
Yeah.
I got a fucking 1-year-old and a 3-year-old at home, and I'm married.
Right.
So
Right.
you could say yes. She's like,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, I guess that makes sense." I said, "I mean, it wasn't too crazy. It was just slightly elevated." She was like, "Just kind of shit." But other than that, and then I got to lose some weight. But I knew that already. So
Okay.
you know, it's, you know how it is. You know what you always got to do in order to get your shit together. So
Right.
that was already on my agenda. I got to drop this weight so I can chase these little red rats around, enjoy life as much as I can. So you know how it goes. Other than that, man, shit just chilling, working, enjoying these Chicago Bulls. We 4-0, number one in the Eastern Conference. Only undefeated team left in the Eastern Conference. You see the Chicago Bulls home team shit right here behind me. You know how we get down. A lot
Yeah.
of haters out here. They mad, but
It's funny to see because first they were like, okay, first when they were 3-0, everybody was like, first 3-0 since 2015 and 2016. I was like, well, that don't matter. And then when they said 4-0, they was like, first time 4-0 since 96, 97. I went, wait, time out.
that's how bad we've been.
Well, but I'm thinking about the Derrick
Rose
Rose
years.
years and
Yeah,
the
they were
Heinrich
never
and
four
Ben
and zero.
Jordan. They've never been 4-0, and I'm like, this might be a good sign. This
Yeah,
might
and
be
look, ain't nobody out here. None of us think that like, all of a sudden we're going 4-0 against two games against the Pistons, one against the Pelicans, and one against a Raptors team, all without arguably the top players. We
right.
understand, like, but at the end, here's the point about the Bulls. The games like for instance, last night they played the Raptors. They tricked off a lead in the fourth quarter,
Which I didn't like. Yeah, I didn't
which is
like that.
very Bulls, very recent Bulls ish type stuff. But the Bulls last year and years before would have lost that game last night. Like
Mm-hmm.
they would have tricked off that lead and they would have lost the game. You don't
Right.
want to see that shit. I'm sure every Bulls fan was out here watching that game and having like a visceral reaction to like, fuck, here we go again. Because they was just doing some super wild, dumb shit. And
Right.
that's where the pickup of DeMar DeRozan came in, I think, because
Mm-hmm.
he steadied the ship, got everything together, knocked down some jumpers. And that's why you got a guy like him. So Zach doesn't have to do it all himself. Because Lonzo was doing some wild shit that he doesn't normally do.
Right.
Vucevic, he hasn't really hit his stride yet. That's the crazy part is they're not even as good as they're going to be. Because Vucevic is hitting, he's missing bunnies. You got Kobe White still needs to come back. He's going to give that second unit some scoring punch.
Right. And
And
Vucevic is
then
getting
you
into
got
foul trouble a lot.
yeah, well, and he's just figuring this shit out. So he hasn't even
Right.
really hit his stride, but he's still getting easy double doubles. Like he's still easily almost getting 20 and 15. Like so that
Right.
tells you how talented the squad is. I mean, you know how it is when you watch the team. Like this is the first time I've watched this team in a while where no matter who they throw the ball to and they moving the ball around, I'm like that person's got a legitimate shot. Like I'm not worried about. I think that person can put the ball in the basket, right,
Right. Yeah.
on the offensive end.
There's never a time when I was watching it yesterday or pretty much any of the four games that I was sitting there like, why is that ball in his hand? Never had that thought. Never had that
Right.
thought. They move the ball around very well. They run the floor very well. Their fast break
Right.
absolutely ridiculous. Their fast break
Yeah,
is nice.
they
So
get after it, and like I think Donovan wants to play that way. It's like control chaos, and he
yeah.
indicated he likes when they play. They get their hands on the ball on defense. They get out on the fast break because he likes them to be instinctive, and he trusts this specific set of guys to
Right.
instinctually play basketball, right? So, which says a lot, right? Because usually a lot of the coaches want to try and get you in sets so they can kind of control what's happening. And a set wouldn't hurt from time to time. But I mean, think about it. I mean, I think it was the Pelicans game, and there's been two games where Levine's been broke like for the first quarter,
Mm-hmm.
and they've come out of the first quarter either close or ahead still. And
Yeah,
in
about
years
three or
past, they would
so.
have been getting blown out. Right? They've been getting
Right.
blown out. and I think it was that Pelicans game. He went ape shit. I think in the second quarter, he had like 26. He had like maybe 20 points in 6 minutes or some shit. Like
Yeah.
shit was bananas. Like I know because you got him on fantasy, so I know you really know what he's doing.
Yeah, because I knew who he was. So I was like, hey,
Yeah.
hey.
I told you he was next on my draft list. I'm like, I'm gonna try and sneak this motherfucker in, but I knew he wouldn't land because most draft boards he wasn't projected to come off the board till like around 3 or 4. So I'm
Right.
like, okay, maybe I can sneak him in after I get these other two cats. But yeah, man, it's like they're fun to watch. The thing about the game last night, you hate seeing them lose that big ass 20-point lead, but what you do like is that they were tested and they didn't trick the game off completely, and you still have a learning moment, right? A teaching moment. So,
Right.
Donovan can take that shit back and say, "Look, y'all can't trick this shit off. You gotta be more focused." Because I mean, they had total, I think, like 12 turnovers. 7 of them were in that fourth quarter, and it
And
was some really stupid shit that you were seeing.
well, yeah, and I was about to say they did the same thing against Detroit. They had jumped up
Yeah,
30 on Detroit, and then Detroit went on like a 18-2 run. And you like, well, what are y'all doing right now?
yeah.
You
It's like they get bored. They need to learn. I think they just need to learn how to put people away. But
Yeah.
the flip side to it is what ends up they just miss shots. Like it's like they just go through these cold spells. But what I'll tell you is like watching that game last night is weird because usually with the Bulls I'm like fuck they about to lose this shit. But I didn't really get legitimate feeling that they were going to ever lose that game. You know what I mean?
No.
Like I never felt like they were actually going to lose it. Now, like I said, don't granted it's the Raptors without Siakam, so I'm not gonna get too hyped. But winning in Toronto under those circumstances isn't, it's not a minor deal. And as a team, if you're going to be a good team, you got to beat the teams you're supposed to. Because plenty of
Right.
people aren't. You know what I'm saying? Fuck you. I mean, I think New York just lost to Orlando. Was it New
Yeah.
York that lost to Orlando?
And
Maybe,
Brooklyn's
yeah,
what, 2-2 right now.
something like that. So I mean,
Yeah.
it is what it is. We're gonna see. We're about to get tested. They got the Knicks coming up on Thursday. Then they got the 76ers. I think 2 of the next 4 games. Got Utah coming up as well. Then they got that 13-game West Coast circus road trip that they go on every year when the circus is in town up there in Chicago.
Right.
But what's interesting is I don't know if maybe it's not the circus trip. I mean, is the circus back in play in the pandemic
I was about to say,
up there in Chicago?
is the circus in play in general? Because I know they had a issue with the animals, like you couldn't actually have the
Right.
circus anymore. So I think they
Yeah.
changed it to like the Ice Capades or some shit.
Okay.
The
Yeah,
Ice
because
Capades comes in town.
traditionally before the pandemic, the Bulls always had a West Coast trip
Mhm.
where when the circus was in town at the United Center, they would be out playing basketball on this road trip. It was a big deal. Always trying to make sure they at least come out at 500. So either way, I mean, it is what it is. But we're about to find out, see what they're talking about. But
Right.
I think they're starting to get people's attention because the way they're playing in a way. And nice thing about them is it's not like they got a young team that's like going to be enamored with their success, right? They're not
Mhm.
going to run around here and be like, "Oh, we're 4-0." Like it's an interesting mix of guys, and that's why I can appreciate what the management has done, the front office has done. They've gotten guys that have some experience but haven't achieved anything, so they got a chip on their shoulder. So them going 4-0, especially after having lost the lead last game, they're not going to let that shit go to their head. They're going to know that we got to get this shit done because they've been in the league. They understand how this shit can work. So we'll see what happens, man.
Dude, literally they're fun to watch. Like I was trying to tell my son because he's into basketball regardless. I mean, he's just at that age. So he's telling me about players that I don't even know nothing about. Like he was like, "Yeah, this guy's gonna be the rookie of the year. This guy's gonna be." I'm like, "Okay, okay." And so I'm learning, the new guys through him. But I told him, I said, "Hey, I'm not joking. Keep your eye on the Bulls. They're gonna be fun to watch." And he watched that Detroit game, and he was just, he was upstairs, with his friends. They be playing these damn video games on their phone and talking and bullshit. And he was watching that Detroit game, and he just started texting me. He was like, "Did you see that alley oop?" "Yeah, I saw that alley oop." He was like, "Did you see Zach?" "Yeah, I saw Zach." I was like, He was like, these boys be running. I said, it's a different squad. It's like they understand what they got to do, and they just it's just a different mentality about them. So it's just good to watch them actually know that they can actually do something and be good. So
Right.
yeah,
No, man, we're gonna see what goes down. I mean, the Lakers they struggling. They over there fighting on the bench and shit.
wait,
Pacers look like they suck ass.
wait,
Uh,
wait, wait, wait. The Lakers. What is this shit with AD and Dwight Howard? Please explain it to me.
so I was actually I turned that game on late. So and then I saw the highlights of that shit. I don't know what happened. Apparently they were mad. Like AD was mad at Dwight over some rotational shit, right? So he didn't rotate and some shit on the court. But Dwight, he's sensitive anyway, so he take offense to that shit, and they get into the shoving match on the bench. They was pissed off because they was getting their lunch handed to him by the Phoenix Suns. Everybody was pissed off. Your boy LeBron was on super bitch mode shit. Like you remember, so the last time they played the Suns, remember I told you how he quit. Like one
Yeah,
time, he was doing a lot of that shit during this game. Like there's one point where somebody tried to dunk on him and they missed it, and he just stayed on the other end of the court. Like it was some weird shit. Like it was,
and,
you
and
could tell they had basically given up. Like fuck it, we're not gonna win tonight.
so when you measure your own greatness based on the fact that you will quit in the middle of a game that you are not having great success in, that right there is the difference between you and who I consider the GOAT. Michael Jordan
Right,
would have been playing basketball past the buzzer. Everybody would have been at home and they would have been sweeping up the United Center of the Chicago Stadium, and that some bitch would have still been on the court talking about run it back,
right.
like let's go. So if you quit, as great as you are, if you quit, like literally stop and be like, man, this shit's for the birds. We done lost this or whatever, and you call yourself the GOAT, or people are calling you the GOAT, you ain't too much of a GOAT. Like it's one thing to understand your greatness. It's another thing to want to literally be greater than anything and anybody in existence. That's the
Right.
difference.
Yeah, he just does stuff, and that might just be generational. I mean, he's our age, but roughly, um, he
It's
just does some shit. Like he's about me. He's a year or two. He's either my age or a year younger, one of the
right.
two.
That's what I'm saying.
But
It's just a generational thing, and because somebody told them you don't have to accept this. I mean, that generation grew up with the you don't have to accept this type of treatment. Blah 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 blah. Okay, well, fine. You getting your ass kicked now, and now I've been on teams, and I've seen teams, and I've coached a team where you getting your ass kicked, and you just like, all right, when's the bus? Like,
right,
I get it, but
yeah, it's
when
just
you
not your day, right? All right, fuck
yeah,
it.
yeah,
Right.
that's different. But when you in a playoff game, or wasn't that the play in game or some shit,
No,
or was
that
that the
so
play?
when it happened last year, that was the first round series against the Suns.
Okay,
So I
yeah,
forget which game it was,
yeah. When
but
you in that, there's none of that shit. I'm sorry, you save that shit for the locker room. Nobody in the crowd, nobody on TV should see you do that. That's the shit you do inside the locker room with your team, and you pout and be like, "Come on, guys, you guys suck." I'm LeBron James. You guys suck. You do whatever you want in there, but when you sitting there pouting on the bench, talking about this shit ain't going my way, and they ain't giving me no calls. Yeah, fuck that,
and I'm
nigga.
I'm sure they may recover from it, but it just seems like it's not. I mean, they won last night or the night before. I can't remember when it was. John Morant had gone off for like 40 points or some shit,
Yeah,
and
but
the
we
only
ain't gonna.
reason why I didn't go to over was up.
I said we on game 4 though. If they doing this shit now, they ain't even ready for when Russ start acting up, because you know he gonna get on his feelings, and that's gonna be a whole different
Yeah,
ball game.
yeah. I mean, we'll see, man. I mean, you know how it goes. LeBron's teams always have these little issues early on, especially when they first come together. They always be on some bitch shit very early on in the process, and then eventually he usually finds a way to get it to come together. But I don't necessarily know if that's going to be the case. But I also know it's only been 3 or 4 games, whatever amount into the season. So it's
Well,
hard to tell what anybody's going to look like at this point.
I hope he can fix it because he's usually the cause of it. Like he started the fire. I hope he can put the fire out. he starts the fire with his passive aggressiveness. That's what it is. He's a very passive aggressive dude, and he starts that fire, and then all the rest of the team becomes very fucking passive aggressive. Then he
This one
figures,
does. This one doesn't appear to be him though.
yeah, I know. I'm just saying.
I mean, and this is just a bad fit, right? I mean, like you got Westbrook, who has only known how to play with the ball, on a team where LeBron should be the point guard, right? So,
Right.
how's that going to play out? Carmelo saved their ass this last game by giving them, vintage Carmelo 30 points or so. But I mean, they got some guys who are hurt, so we'll see. But shit, LeBron already got nursing an injury. I don't even know if he's playing tonight. I know he was questionable.
He was questionable today. Yeah, tonight he's questionable. They downgraded him to questionable.
So so it's that age starting to catch up because he's had more issues or injuries in the past 3 or 4 years than he's had his whole career. You know what I'm saying?
And Father Time is undefeated. I keep telling folks, I was like,
Right.
y'all don't get it. He's literally working almost 20-year NBA legs.
Right.
20-year NBA legs. I don't care how young he was when he started. 20-year NBA legs is 20-year NBA legs. That's just how that works.
Matter of fact, they downgraded him to outs tonight.
Oh,
Ankle soreness. So he's not even playing tonight. And that's smart. They're not going to play him. I mean, all they care about is getting the playoffs healthy, which is going to be a feat.
Right. But we're talking ankle soreness.
And right. I mean, that's not an injury he usually would have sustained, right?
That's
like,
what I'm saying. Like that's not a thing for him. Like normally, you don't hear that. So it's just, I mean, he's getting older, and that's just a lot of people ain't trying to hear it.
It's a matter of time. I mean, he is absolutely an outlier. I mean, he's hung on at a high level for a very long time, but eventually everybody has to fall off. I mean, it's inevitable. I mean, especially the game of basketball. Tom Brady can get away with it because the rules change over time. I mean, Tom Brady actually, this came up today on one of the sports shows. They're talking about Tom Brady, and he asked him, I said, if there's one rule you could change, based on your longevity of career, what would it be? And he started talking about how the physicality of the game has changed over the years from when he first started. And, for instance, like the defenseless receivers said back in the day, that was the quarterback's responsibility to keep his receivers safe. Like there would be times when he wouldn't throw the ball over the middle because you got like a Ray Lewis or somebody like that who's going to knock a dude out of the game. You know what I'm saying? Because of the physicality of the game. Whereas now, like, for instance, the 600th pass, and we'll talk about that in a second, the 600 touchdown this past weekend, he said that particular pass, I never would have thrown that early in my career because I know my guy would have got lit up. But I know now that they can't do that legally. So that's why I was comfortable throwing that pass. So it's funny to hear him say that. And as I thought about it, I said to myself, well, that's part of the reason why Tom can continue to play longer than anticipated because and he said this in response to the answer. He said, the game is more of like a skills competition now than about the physicality of the game as it used to be. And that makes sense because now that so that works out for him because as he gets older, he can work on his skills. He's getting better because he's older and more experienced.
Right.
And as long as he stays on top of certain stuff like diet and does all the little weird shit he's doing, eating avocado ice cream, all the type of shit, like he can play longer, right? Versus if you were playing back in the 90s when shit was super physical, he couldn't play longer because he'd be getting lit up because quarterbacks wouldn't be getting protected like they get protected now.
Well, I was about to say he's the reason quarterbacks are protected the way they're protected. Like they rewrote the book because of him. So.
Right, hitting guys low because of him getting taken that knee injury.
Right,
was that 2000 whatever? But excuse me, sorry. But it's so that's why people are like, how can he play so long at such a level? Because the game has changed. It is primarily about skills, and you can't touch the quarterback. I mean, it makes for a better visual product for the most part, but he made a good point. He was like, basically, the way the game is played now, it's kind of like if you told about two boxers, hey, don't hit him too hard or don't hurt him, right?
Right.
The game is a physical game. And it was refreshing to kind of hear him, because these are rules that are benefiting him, but you can tell he understands the nature of what he's doing, why he can play longer, and why he can talk about playing to 50. He's not going to, but theoretically, maybe he could. But that's because the physicality of the game is gone, at least when it comes to quarterback. So, so that being said, he had his he had his 600th touchdown pass this weekend. So I know
Mm-hmm.
you saw that shit. So um, excuse me, Mike Evans caught the touchdown pass and clearly didn't know what the fuck was going on. Didn't realize it was a 600th touchdown and gave the ball to somebody in the crowd. It's like, oh, touchdown. So then you see one of the personnel staff from the Buccaneers like, hey, go over to him like, hey, where's the football? He was like, oh wait, what do you mean? And he said, I gave it to a fan, so they tracked that shit down
Real quick.
real quick. And so the fan they're talking over there for a little bit, and the fan ends up giving them the ball back. And I'm assuming they came to some sort of agreement at that particular time. And so the question, here's the question I want to pose. Fuck it, would you give the football back? I know my answer.
That football will be going home with me, and it will be sold the next goddamn day for umpty millions of dollars. Because I'm telling you, anybody and everybody that is a serious major collector would have gave
Dude,
you the house for that
yeah,
ball.
especially these days, that shit's going for. I mean, the estimation is that shit could have went for 500 to 600 stacks,
Yeah.
like
See,
easy. So for those of you, for our melanin challenge friends, 500 to 600,000, 500 to 600 stacks is $500,000 to $600,000. So absolutely run me my money. Like
yeah.
people are like, oh, but he earned that. That's his ball. I'm like, look, that's it. You need to take it up with your receiver, dog.
That's his
Like
fault.
the minute that shit's in my hand, like that's life changing money. So this is what ended up happening. So the person did end up getting some shit, right? So he got season tickets for the rest of this season and next season, $1,000 credit for the team shop or some shit like that.
Okay.
Some autographed jerseys, and I think eventually he got a Bitcoin from Tom Brady, right? Which ain't a bad. I mean,
That's
Bitcoin's
not a
going for
bad thing.
62. It's going for 62 grand right now, and it's going up. So I mean, I give you some respect, but in the Bitcoin, I'm not sure they might have had to sweeten the pot a little bit, but so I mean that's not nothing to sneeze at, but knowing you can sell this shit for 500, 600,000, especially if I ain't a fucking Buccaneers fan, like I'll be like, hey, shit, sorry, and I may be a villain, but who gives a shit? I'm a villain sitting on 500,000. Holla at me. I
I
need it.
mean, seriously,
Half a mil. Ain't no way. I,
that's a
I'm gonna need
easy
way more.
money.
I'm gonna need way more than he got. I'm gonna need to ride on. I'm gonna be like, look, I need to travel with the team. Uh,
I
I'm gonna
need to
need to
fire
be.
the cannon.
All right, I'm gonna need to be on the sidelines for the rest of this season and next season. Actually, you know what? I want season tickets for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Let's keep it all the way true. And the Bitcoin is a nice little sweetener because that's probably gonna. Who knows what that's gonna turn into, one Bitcoin? So that's cool. That's cool. Uh, So I mean, I just he gave that shit up way too quick, and and so y'all know he wasn't black, right? You know, it was a white dude because the brother would not have given that shit up. He like, Tom got to come see me and talk to me directly. Y'all not about to send this representative over here to talk to my ass about this. Matter of
Right.
fact, after I got that ball, I probably would have left the stadium. Like, I'm out of here. I'll holler at y'all.
Dude, this reminds me of a episode of Living Single, uh, where Queen Latifah sat there and got Dean Kane's wallet in a cab. And for y'all who don't know, Dean Kane used to play Superman on TV. He was very popular back in the day or whatever. But she got his wallet in the cab, and they kept sending representatives from Warner Brothers over to her house to get the wallet. And she was like, y'all don't get it. I need to see Dean Kane. Hey, this wallet ain't coming up out of my hands to nobody except for Dean Kane. That's exactly how it would have been. I need to see Tom Brady. Tom Brady need to come up here and talk to
he
me
he
personally.
got to see me. Like, a matter of fact, we'll talk later. All right, y'all worry about this game. Let me
Right.
get some time to figure out what the fuck I'm doing.
Right.
Then I'll tell you the price. I'm sure you'll get it back. And I'll give. I'm not. I'll give you. I may even give you somewhat of a discount, like, cause it's your shit. You know, it's your touchdown. But I don't give a fuck about you that much.
Right,
Like,
right. Everybody's gonna get what they want here. You gentlemen have a good day.
right. I'll be damned. Like, that's a lot of faith. I mean, and I guess he knows they got to give him something, right? Because if they take the ball and they don't give him shit, he'll go public and say, "Oh, the team took this shit from me and they promised me blah blah blah," and
They
there'll be
sent
a
their
lot of
goons
blowback.
after me and beat the shit out of me and took the ball.
Right, right. That's why I'm be like, I'm out this bitch. Holla at y'all. Like, I'll
Oh
talk
yeah.
to y'all later.
Oh yeah. I would
So
here you go. Treat me like Bartman. Give me a police escort out that motherfucker and be done.
right, right. Give a fuck. I'm out. Like I need that. I mean, $500,000 is it makes a lot of people hate me feel okay.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when they some motherfuckers I don't care about anyway.
Yo,
Because
definitely.
who's gonna like me? My family. You're gonna be like, I love this. I love you, daddy. Cause $500,000 new house we in. You welcome, son.
Exactly.
So the
Here
people
goes
that I
Tom
care,
Brady gonna do that for me? Nope.
Tom Brady ain't gonna do that for me. Like Tom Brady gonna try and get this shit for cheap. You better talk to your receiver. How sick would you be as if you Mike Evans and that fan don't give it back? Like,
Clearly the dude. I mean, I'm not gonna completely knock him, but clearly the dude ain't really paying attention to his quarterback stats like that anyway.
but I think he was caught up in the moment. Didn't realize that was number 600 or whatever. But
Right.
it's all good, Mike. I would have broke you off 200,000 for your trouble when I get that 600,000. Here you go. Like,
This is King Joffrey Joffer, ruler of Zamunda, for your trouble.
like, I need that. Like, fuck out of here. There's so many people in the media like, oh, you give it back, he earned that. That's the honorable thing to do. All right, motherfucker. Like, honorable my ass.
Yeah,
Like,
honorable my ass.
that ain't that ain't honorable in the streets. I'll tell you that much. So yeah. So he came out okay. That
Right.
Bitcoin kind of sweetened the deal a little bit. So I was
Yeah,
like,
because you
okay,
never
that's
know what
about,
that's
it's
gonna
about
do.
well, it's going up. I mean, I got some. Are you into crypto?
No, no,
No.
I still haven't made the jump. I watch it. I just go, mm. I'm I'm still on that fence. I ain't gonna
I'm
lie.
I, I'm in a little bit, and I'm increasing my portfolio, that percentage of my portfolio. Now, I'm heavy into tech stocks, and I'm starting to
Okay.
pay attention to crypto. But I got some Bitcoin, I got some Ether, I got some Doggy Coin. Um, I was trying to get some of that Shiba, but I can't get it on. I fuck around on Robinhood a little bit, so
Okay.
I'm trying to use one of these other platforms. But I mean, they've been performing pretty well. I probably should have sold the Doggy Coin back when they thought it was going to hit $1. I think I bought it at like 45 cents.
Mm-hmm.
When they thought it was going to hit $1, it got up to 75. I remember watching it one night, and the shit got up to 75. I poked my wife on the side. I said, "Shit, this fucking doggy coin's up to $75. I mean, 75 cents." Which, when you understand that shit was selling for tenths, hundreds, and thousands of the penny when it first came out,
Right.
that's a significant amount, especially for people who got in on the front end. I mean, there's people that invested 100 grand a year prior and were millionaires by the time this shit came around. So I was like, shit, I wasn't thinking. I should have sold the shit then and then got back in when the shit started to crash again. Because they thought it was going to hit $1 because Elon Musk was going to go on Saturday Night Live and talk
Right.
about the shit. But it ended up just peaking at about 75, 76, and then it's kind of been steadily kind of fucking around a little bit. But it looks like it's making another jump because Elon Musk, I think, has authorized Tesla to use it for payment. So we'll see. And Amazon, I think, was toying around with the idea too. So I'm not totally into it yet, but I mean, you got that. Are you into NFTs at all?
No, no.
Yeah, that's some shit too. My wife actually put me on to that. A lot of folks are doing that. So basically, it's just like digital images and shit like that. But it's weird. I
Mm.
mean, they got like virtual worlds where people have virtual uh, like art galleries where they put virtual art and people are there's it's so crazy now. You can buy virtual real estate, legitimately buy virtual real estate and have a virtual real estate home and all types of shit. You have a real estate agent. People paying hundreds of thousands of dollars for virtual real estate. Like so basically it's like a real life Sims where people are paying real money for.
Wow.
It's just bananas. But it's a booming emerging market. I mean, plenty of people are into this shit. So it's just, I mean, it's another way to diversify the portfolio. Don't take any advice from us on this shit. I fuck around, so don't do some shit because Robert said he was doing the shit on the podcast because you don't want to trust my judgment right now. I'm not playing around with a substantial amount of money in those areas yet. So
yeah, because there'll be somebody and be like, Robert told me to get something about some pit bull coin or something, and I was looking for it, and I put all my savings into it. Thank you,
and
Robert.
I found an artist named Pitbull, and I just bought a bunch of his digital currency, EFT, NFT, EFT. What you mean?
Like
EFT,
what you just
electronic funds transfer to Pitbull? Like the fuck? So no, I am not. Is not what I'm saying. So do your own research, but it's crypto shit. You got. I suggest you get into it, dog. I mean, it's only a matter of time.
Yeah, that's why I said I was riding the fence on it because you never know. But
or just put a little bit in your portfolio. You don't want to be because this Ether and this Bitcoin is going to continue to go up. The doggy coin kind of figure out what you want to do, but the Shiba seems to continue to be growing up. But Bitcoin and Ether have definitely recovered and continue to go up. So I don't think it's going down, but obviously it's trading for $62,000 per share of Bitcoin, but you don't have to buy all that, obviously. But, I'm just pissed off. I remember hearing about this Bitcoin shit when it first was jumping off. I was like, what's this weird ass shit? And I was laughing at it. Now I'm laughing at myself now. Shit.
So basically, I should start out with a couple of Grover Clevelands and work it from there.
Yeah, I mean, shit. Had I invested $1,000 in Bitcoin, 5 years ago? I'm not sure how long ago. Be sitting on a cool 62 million. Is that right?
See, yeah. So yeah, I might do that.
Yeah, man.
Visit my man Grover. Let's do it.
Right.
Now everybody's sitting there going, who the hell is Grover Cleveland and why he talking about putting 2 Grover Clevelands on it? If you don't know what that is, maybe you shouldn't get into this. I'm just going to tell you that right now.
Right.
Oh, shit.
So did you check out, so have you been tracking the fallout from Dave Chappelle shit?
Yeah, did you see how he's setting the parameters for this meetup, right? Which is smart.
Said he was like, I will not be summoned.
Yeah, which is smart.
Like, fuck it, I said what I said, and it's clear most of you motherfuckers didn't listen to the entire special, but because I guess he's screening his documentary. He'll be in Columbus, by the way, as one of the stops. So because a lot of these film and these production companies, Hollywood is very LGBTQ invested. So none of those folks are wanting to touch it. So he's like, fuck it, I'll do it myself and I'll screen it. So, but I can appreciate it. Shit, but Netflix was like, nah, fuck that. We keeping that shit. Y'all can get mad all you want. You can walk out all you want. It is what it is. So, yeah. I mean, Dave's sticking to his guns, dog.
Which is, I applaud him for it because I mean we live in this era where people think they can quote unquote manipulate you just by threatening to cancel you if you don't agree with their position. The funny part about this was there's a thing that was on Twitter, a video at one of these rallies, these anti-Dave Chappelle rallies, where
they got super aggressive. Like,
yeah, and broke his sign.
Like, dude, you super mad, dog. Like,
this dude is protesting just like you, and the sign said "I like Dave" or something, and all he did was he didn't storm up in there. He just had his sign. He was on the outskirts of the protest. He wasn't all intrusive, and they mobbed him, broke his sign. When they broke
real sign, ridiculous. Yeah, that look real ridiculous. Like, to be protesting some shit, talking about, I don't even know what the fuck y'all mad about, but whatever y'all mad about, like, to go super crazy, I'm gonna rip this shit up. Like, people aren't sympathetic to your cause.
And then you say, sir, drop the weapon. So they ripped his sign up, which left him with nothing but a stick. And the first thing they start saying is, he has a weapon.
Like no, motherfucker. I had a sign, but
I had a
now
sign, but you
since
fucking.
since you motherfuckers over here super aggressive, I got to use a stick just in case I got to whoop somebody's ass.
Yeah,
So,
it was ridiculous. So I mean, good for Dave. Like I said, and like he said, I'm not gonna be summoned. You know, I said what I said, and if you're gonna talk to me, and I like it, if you're gonna talk to me, then you have to have watched my whole special from beginning all the way to the end. Don't give me the cliff notes about this shit.
right.
Yeah, we're not gonna have no conversation, no real conversation based on some fucking cliff notes or some shit you might have seen on social media in another Twitter post or another Instagram post, and you didn't actually watch it for yourself. So
Right.
yeah,
Speaking of Twitter,
yeah.
transition. That's gonna be one of the buttons I'm gonna program for the soundboard. Some sort of transition. It's gonna be something ridiculous too. But so apparently, shout out all the AKAs out there. Apparently, AKA Nation is super pissed off. I don't watch the show. Insecure,
Ooh.
Issa Rae, last season. My wife watches the show. She's been waiting for that shit. But so I just happened to see Twitter trending like because Amanda Seales was catching that heat from people and shit about some AKA shit. I said, what the fuck's what's going on here? Because Amanda Seales, I mean, she's super smart, but she says some reckless shit from time to time. So you know, some people got to be overreacting when people are siding with Amanda Seales against the AKAs and some shit. So, long story short, she plays a character on Insecure, and all the ladies who listen, sisters who listen, are probably listening to our dumbasses like, why are they explaining shit like they super special and shit? Like, there's a show.
These
There's a
niggas
show
don't
she
even know.
plays a character. Anyway, long story short, most of y'all listening already know, but she plays a character who's an AKA on the show, and for whatever reason, this last season, recently, somebody got pissed off that she was wearing AKA paraphernalia on the show, and they found out that Amanda Seales is not an AKA. Now, keep in mind, Amanda Seales is playing a character on a TV show, right? That's written by somebody else. So, AKA Nation has gone full like pissed off mode. Like, how dare she wear the pink and green and the shield? And she's not an AKA. Now, full disclosure, I'm not Greek, so I certainly don't understand uh, the level of animosity. It seems super ridiculous to me, just kind of based on the shit you could be concerned about. Especially considering the fact that this is a fucking show. She's playing a character, and she's not representing off the show that she's an AKA. But AKAs are super pissed off. Like now, my sister's an AKA, so of course I was giving her shit. She wasn't pissed off because she's rational, right? Um, and most of these people that are pissed off are probably young chicks who ain't seen different world and understand that this shit's already been done before, right? But so like, and in my mind I was like, well,
They
I'm
just crossed.
right, and I'm assuming Issa Rae would have had to get the okay from national AKAs to be like, hey, I'm gonna use this shit as likeness, but maybe not, because I mean that would have had to come from HBO, right? And I'm pretty sure there probably ain't no
What?
AKAs in the HBO front office who are like, because the white folks at HBO don't know shit about Black Greeks or shit like that, so they don't understand
Well, that's what I was
the
about to say. The white folks right now going, "What the hell's a goddamn AKA?" They keep talking about it.
so yeah,
He's
so people are
he's
super
5 minutes into this AKA, AKA. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
yeah.
Jesus,
So
Bobby.
for those of you who don't know, I mean the white folks who we down with that are listening, like the AKAs are it's a black sorority, historically black sorority, Alpha Kappa Alpha, founded in 1908. I don't even know what school where they founded at. Hampton. I don't know. They somebody mad at me. I don't know. I don't know y'all
Ooh,
fucking
you
history.
yeah. It goes
Shit,
just
I ain't supposed to know y'all history. I'm shit. Fuck. But so full disclosure, I ain't Greek, obviously, because they all know when everybody else is founded. So
so they were founded at Howard.
Howard.
Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say Howard, but
You had
so
the H right.
yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Like it is what it is. So so it was interesting. So
Well, that's the only reason I know, because I'm a Freemason. So
that's what I was gonna say. So you're a Mason. Because I joke with my sister, I said, how the AK is gonna be mad about this shit when I'm pretty sure every blue moon I'll see a homeless person out on the street with an AKA jacket or AKA bag, or I'll see some AKA shit at a garage sale. Like, they ain't holding that paraphernalia that close. Like, you know what I'm saying? To the point where you see random motherfuckers in that shit. So what's the big problem? So, but I will tell you one thing. What I do not see, what I've never seen, is anybody who's not a Mason wearing Mason shit. And I'll be honest with you, I don't see a lot of Mason paraphernalia.
Because they'll come up missing. I mean, because we don't tolerate such things. I mean, no, there are, and so this is where the white folks come in. We're like, oh, fuck it, Freemasonry. I know this shit. Okay. So there are the white Freemasons. And I hate to say they're the black Freemasons, but we are the Prince Hall Freemasons. And long story short, there's only one group of active Masons, Freemasons in the United States, with a charter from the Church of England that says you can operate as Freemasons in this country, and that would be the Prince Hall Freemasons. The white folks just came over here and brought the shit over here and said, we just gonna fucking bring the shit over here and just do what the fuck we want. They actually don't even have a charter, but I digress. Anyway, they're gonna get mad and be like, you son of a bitch. So I digress on that point. But Freemasonry, white or black, yeah, if you're not a Mason, you don't wear that shit. And we will check you on that shit. And it is the oldest fraternal organization in the history of mankind. So there's some rules and there's some respect to go around. Now, having said that, 50 million damn TV shows about Freemasonry, some of them which is complete bullshit. And
the whole National Treasure series is yeah, it seems pretty cool. I'm like, fuck, I want to be a Mason. Shit.
That's what I'm saying. It's all bullshit. And there's been 50 million movies with guys supposedly pretending or playing parts of Freemasons. Now, I know what this is. This is Amanda Seales playing the AKA. And they like, you know what? That heifer can't be wearing our shit. Because they don't like Amanda Seales. It ain't about the character she's playing. It's about her wearing they shit.
But what's interesting, I don't even know if that, because what's interesting is women who would typically be Amanda Seales fans. And then what you find now is people who are typically like, fuck Amanda Seales. They see how ridiculous this AKA shit is. They're like, I hate that I'm signed with Amanda Seales, but y'all motherfuckers are ridiculous. I tend to agree. But, excuse me. What's interesting is she's apparently been playing this character for 5 years, and it's been known for 5 years that she's AKA.
And this is about the first time that they actually put it on camera or some shit.
You know how it is. Well, no, I mean, I don't know that it's been as overtly presented, but I think it's been known she's an AKA. So I think what probably happened was people assumed that she was an AKA when she was playing it early on, and then for some reason somebody had said something and she said, hey, look, y'all, I'm not an AKA. And then somebody caught wind of that, like, oh, she wearing our shield, fuck that bitch, all types of shit. Like,
well, so there might be something to it, just within Greek protocol, I should say. There might be something to it, because think about this. All right, even a different world. There would be in the background, the extras. There would be people with Delta shirts, AKA shirts, Q shirts. But the main characters, when it came time for them to pledge Greek, they gave them some fake name shit. Like Ron pledged Kappa Lambda Nu, right. and Whitley pledged something else that was similar to AKs, but they weren't AKs.
It was clearly AKs.
Yeah, but you see what I'm saying?
Ron shit was what, clearly
they were the Kappa. Well, they put them in the Q's colors, but they gave them Kappa canes or some shit.
Acted like Kappa.
they acted like Kappas. So, but in the background, if you were watching the episode and you in the pit or whatever, there'll be an actual AKA sweatshirt or a Delta Sigma Theta sweatshirt. But they didn't allow those main characters when it came time for them to pledge.
Well, I think part of the difference is so you got Bill Cosby intimately involved with that series, who's a
Correct.
Q. So he's intimately involved as a black letter Greek or a black Greek. So I don't
And
know
so
that
was the
Issa Rae is.
director. Yeah, so was
Yeah,
the director at the time too. Yeah.
yeah, so I don't know that Issa Rae is Greek. She certainly knows the protocol, right? I mean, anybody who's black and been around other black folks understands how seriously you motherfuckers take this shit. Like, so I mean, and no disrespect. I mean, I understand everybody got their processes and the brotherhood, sisterhood. I get it. I mean, I'm not minimizing it. There's so many benefits to it. It is what it is. But it seems pretty interesting that y'all super pissed off about Amanda Seales playing an AKA on fake TV. Meanwhile, you got a real life AKA in the White House with no black agenda noticeable to anybody that's affecting anybody that looks like you, but y'all quiet about so roaring and it's a vice president. But I digress. So I mean, this shit is hilarious to me, dude. Like that shows you how powerless black folks feel they are. Like to the point where like this is the hill you're gonna go die on. But when it comes to holding somebody responsible that's within your own sorority, like that you have the power and ability to hold accountable, you shut the fuck up. But you want to talk to Issa Rae about Insecure and the series that's going off this season because you mad at Amanda Seales. Fuck out of here. All
right. wait for it. Hold on, here it comes.
No, I mean, unless you. Good day, sir.
Oh shit!
But no, man.
Yeah, it. I like I said, I don't watch the show, so I'm just speculating on how or why they could be mad. It could be, is it an authentic AKA shirt? Is the shield right, or did she put up the wrong finger? Like I don't know. Like
that hasn't been in. They're simply mad that she's not an AKA and she's depicting one on TV.
And that's why it's called television. Like
that's my point.
It's like it's okay. It's TV.
Now, look, I understand from maybe a copyright perspective if HBO hasn't okayed that with the national AKs and as far as
there's no kickback, I get that.
Like, I understand that, but that's not why some of you motherfuckers is angry. Some of y'all just mad because y'all taking this shit too serious and your panties are in a bunch. That's some of y'all problem is, and you need to chill the fuck out. But from a monetary perspective, I certainly get that. Maybe I don't understand the whole the essence and the culture of it, which is why people are gonna be listening like you don't understand. And we should have brought on some of our AKA friends. My sister would never come on because she don't trust me not to talk about some hard shit. But like Terry, friend of the show, maybe we'll bring her on next week or something like that to give us some insight. She's an AKA. I wonder if Terry don't strike me as a person that'd be pissed off about it. She's doing too much other shit to be worried about it. So I feel like there's some introverted nerds someplace who are watching the show like, oh, how dare you? Especially considering the shit's been going on for 5 years. And how dare you motherfuckers have me coming to Amanda Seales' defense, first of all, okay? Like, I think that's what has me pissed off right now, more so than anything, that you motherfuckers actually got me out here defending Amanda Seales. Who is somebody intellectually I respect, but she just her takes sometimes are just too much for me. I'm like, all right, I can't fuck with you today. But y'all motherfuckers got me out here caping for Amanda Seales. Ain't that a bitch? So I'm glad you gave us some insight. Now now I'm curious. I got all types of questions for you about the Black Masons and shit. I'm trying to figure out like, do y'all motherfuckers have hazing like the Black Greeks, or is it just an intellectual process? You probably can't tell me anything. You can't put shit on here.
I can't say shit.
Very quiet. You want to go ahead and tell us, Greg? That's okay. Nobody's listening.
I can't say nothing.
So what you're telling us is, what he's telling us, y'all, is that shit from National Treasure is real. Like these motherfuckers is over here. They got secret compartments in the national capital and shit. Uh, they got they occupy all different types of offices and shit. And they got a secret clandestine organization, a secret cabal that runs the government.
Yeah, according to a lot of people, we ride goats and all types of shit. Very strange. We're weird. We're
All
weird.
types of wild shit on TV, like all the fucking weird ass rituals and shit. I'd be like, I don't know, man. This shit seems a little. Like, I'll, don't worry, y'all. I'm gonna talk to Greg offline, and then I'm gonna divulge. And just say I read it in a book.
What I do enjoy is listening to people who swear up and down they actually know. They be like, yeah, my cousin when he told me blah blah blah, and like the shit that they be saying, I'm like, wow, your cousin sent your ass for a ride like a motherfucker. He told you some shit, but that's cool. And they swear up and down. They know. Like I had an aunt who really didn't like Freemasonry because she was like super Christian number one.
Well, because it's the devil, right?
Oh yeah, according to them, it's of the devil, is satanic worship and all this other great shit. So,
tell the truth, Greg. It is. Tell the truth.
So, like, she was just like, I can't believe that you would want to join something like that, and I was like, uncle's one, granddaddy's one, yo daddy's one. Like, what part of are all these people crazy, retarded, stupid, whatever term you want to use?
You're not supposed to use the word retarded, Greg.
I know. I'm talking to an old person. This is way back in the day when this shit was retarded was a word back in the day, not now. I understand that now, but I'm just saying, like, she was really trying to say some things, and I was like, so are all these people something? And she was like, well, that's different. I'm like, yeah. And I was like, and great granddaddy won, and he's a pastor. So how does this play into? But they swear up and down they know what they know. So I just let people tell me what they know about it, and I go, okay, yep, you're right. That's right. It's safe.
But isn't it possible somebody's leaked some shit? Because I can.
Yeah,
I guess from like a black Greek organization, I know for sure some shit that goes down, and it's not from my sister. Obviously, I don't care about what goes on in case, but I have on good authority on a lot of folks' processes. But and it is what it is. I mean, some of that shit's just public knowledge because motherfuckers get caught up publicly and they start getting lawsuits and shit. So um, I guess it's possible since y'all have secret cabals ran by the devil that y'all keep it under wraps.
We are often called a secret society, and we are not. We are in bookstores all over America, and
Right.
we are just a society with secrets. That's different. That's all. No more, no less.
That's been practiced, y'all.
Everybody has secrets, and there are family members whose cousins and aunties are also really they mamas, but it's cool.
See how they see how he shifted that, y'all. See how these Masons shift that shit on y'all. All right, we're gonna break this shit wide open one of these days, and Gray's gonna give us all the tea, and we're gonna figure this shit out. Like so, you just got to take nonverbal cues off this motherfucker every once in a while. His eye will twitch from time to time. He'll take a drink here or there. Hey, you hit a nerve. Be like, who'd you hear that from?
Right.
Aha.
He go, where you get that boot? That's no, but yeah, I just think it's funny that they are literally all up in arms over the shit. It's actually kind of funny.
Y'all should find some other shit to be mad about. People dying over wild shit. And y'all motherfuckers is worried about some colors and a shield. But hey,
be mad about the Voting Rights Act. Be mad about the Anti-Lynching Act. Be mad about so many other different things. Yeah, it's like, come on, man. Like, seriously,
the fuck out of here. So, hey, we've been going for a little bit. I know Greg was just getting over a little bit of something last week, so we're not gonna go super long. We're not gonna make him. We'll give him a chance to get some rest. But I think it's a good time shit to go and transition into what the fuck. I know you had some shit, and for some reason it felt like a what the fuck week. I mean, all types of shit was popping up, so I got a few. We'll see how many we get into if we get tired of this shit. But I had a few I want to talk about. We can check out. So shit, I'll let you go first.
Yeah, so my what the fuck is it's really a what the fuck for the judge here. So the judge in the Kyle Rittenhouse case, and if y'all don't know, Kyle Rittenhouse is the white kid, the 17-year-old white kid that left the state of Illinois to go to the state of Wisconsin with an AR-15 and quote
Right.
unquote protect their streets. So, he basically has multiple felonies by being underage with a weapon as well as crossing state lines with that weapon. But
Right.
I digress on that point. But he killed two people in that altercation. Let's just be nice and say it's an altercation between him and those two people. But the judge in his case, in his murder trial, because it is what it is murder. But let the courts decide that. The judge in this case said that they will not allow the lawyers to call his what do you call them?
Call the call the people that call the
Yeah.
people. Yeah, but you
Well,
call
yeah,
them victims.
They're
Shit,
victims. Like that's what they
but
are.
but
They're
the judge
dead.
won't. The judge won't let the lawyers call those people he killed victims.
Yeah, they won't. He said that's a loaded term.
Yes, it's a loaded term because they is victims. Shit, like
Yeah, but then the judge said the lawyers could call them rioters, looters, or arsonists. So none of those are loaded terms.
well, it tells you where the judge falls on this shit. Like, I mean, it's very clear. Um, yeah, they're fucking victims. Yeah, of course. I mean, the jury can make the decision whether or not, in fact, they believe the charges, but they should be entitled to call them what the fuck they are as victims, people he killed. So that's what I'll be saying every time in front of the jury. Like, oh, so since I can't call these people victims, the people that he killed, um,
Yeah, because he's been all over it's Fox News, but still he's been all over the news where they're sitting there saying that he's a young man trying to protect his community, and I'm like, you're stating, okay, falsehoods. Number one, that shit's a lie because it's not his community. He lives in Illinois. He has a whole different city, governor, the whole nine. He lives in another state, so it's not his community.
This is why judges matter. Like, and I'm a lawyer, and I'm fully aware of my responsibility. Of I'm not supposed to necessarily badmouth folks on the bench, but it's not my bench, not my state, so fuck them. Um, Reality is this: like that's a terrible ruling, and it tells me that you're biased and you're probably in favor of discrimination. You have no business on the bench. I don't even know this judge's name. I'm not going to say their name because I don't want to give them any more press than necessary. But
Right.
fuck them. Like that's totally ridiculous, and that's why you need to make sure you keep track and vote for judges who are going to represent your interests. I told y'all before out here in Columbus, vote for Mike McAllister for judge. He's one of the good folks. Make sure you vote November 2nd or 3rd, whenever the fuck we vote.
Yeah, it's November 2nd.
Make sure you vote for Mike McAllister. But yeah, that's why shit matters, man. That's a ridiculous ruling, 100%, and it telegraphs what this judge thinks about the case clearly.
Yeah, because he or she, let's put it that way, he or she also said that they can't attach his affiliation to the Proud Boys in any type of argument as well. So
also ridiculous.
Yeah. So. Yeah. So it's like, all right, well, we see where you're at. And, they want to paint the narrative that he's a, kid who made a mistake. Meanwhile, a kid who was just walking home and only mistake he made was actually having on a hood, but he can't just walk home. And he is all types of, well, he was scary and he could have been suspicious and he could have been, Trayvon's dead because he was walking home. Tamir Rice is dead because he was a actual kid playing cops and robbers in the park. Now,
or Khalif Browder went to jail for stealing a backpack.
A
Ended up
backpack.
being put in solitary confinement for years before he got a trial or he ever got convicted of the charges, and eventually killed himself.
Three
So
3 years total in the county and 2 years in solitary.
that's
That's
bananas.
for a backpack. For a backpack. But this kid that you call a kid, 17, so he knows what he's doing.
This some bitch, say call him what he is.
Yeah, this some bitch literally gets his AR-15, tells his mama, drive me to Wisconsin. We'll figure this shit out. We'll get those in order.
Right.
And kills 2 people. He murders 2 people.
Yeah, I mean, if he get off, don't be surprised if there's some street justice. And it is what it is. Assalamu alaikum.
I'm just saying.
I'm
just saying. People have come up missing for less.
It is what it is. We call that street justice. And I'm amazed that Zimmerman ain't caught that street justice yet. As indignant
he
as that
absolutely amazes me. I am fascinated by the fact that he hasn't come up missing. Like, I thought that would have happened by now. And he's doing book tours and all types of stuff. Like, okay.
Yeah, I'm just saying, well, there's enough street violence against our own folks. Like, I need folks to get their shit together, focus that energy where it needs to be focused. You know what I mean?
But, yeah. So if Momo is the big man on campus or the big man in the hood, Momo need to figure out how to make some other shit happen. That's all I'm saying. Stop robbing little old ladies for their pocketbooks.
Right. Go do some shit that help the culture out, or at least make us feel better. But so
how you say at the Players Club, do something to make me feel good.
Some people are like, fuck, these motherfuckers are asking for some wild shit.
I ain't asking for nothing.
I'm asking for nothing. I'm pointing out. I'm just pointing out. I'm just pointing out what could possibly happen, knowing how certain things work out. And I'm just pointing out a discrepancy which I've identified, and I'm curious as to why it exists. That's all.
That is it.
So I'm not sure if you got more. I'll do one and then see if you got anything else.
No, that was mine.
I'm gonna present this in a way because I'm curious to see what your response is. Okay. So there's a article I saw on Instagram. So basically what happened was there's a woman who got stuck with a $3,100 bill after a blind date. And the guy that she was on the blind date with, he refused to pay for the 23 family members she brought with him to test his generosity. She brought with her to test his generosity. So basically, this chick brought 23 family members with her, and ran up this bill to see how interested this motherfucker was. And he left on her ass like, fuck it, I ain't here for this shit. Now you can pay this $3,100 bill, dipset bitch. So
very smart young man.
What's your thought on that?
Oh, she's stupid. Sorry, you stupid.
Where you think she was from?
It's gonna be Atlanta.
Hey, look. Look. I'm so glad you said it, man. Like, I'm so fucking glad you said it. Because when I read the story, on, I don't even know what site I saw it on, but I immediately thought this was a sister, right? As did you, by saying it's Atlanta, because this is the type of shit you're never gonna guess what this shit was. I'll give you another guess.
Oh, don't say Columbus, Ohio.
Dude, motherfucker, you not even on the right continent. This was in Zhejiang, China.
Oh shit. It's a wonder he ain't actually do physical abuse on this girl before he walked out the damn room. Oh,
when I saw that the shit was in China, I was like, damn, I judged the fuck out of that because I sure thought it was a sister. I was like, this is some one of them fucking tricks and one of them fucking tests that these chicks be out here doing, like trying to counteract Kevin Samuels and shit. So like, and that's why I think it's hilarious that you said Atlanta, the blackest city in the country, must have been Atlanta.
Well, I mean, that sounds like some shit, not, and ladies, don't get me wrong. There are some fine people that I know, some fine women that live in
Oh shit.
Atlanta that will not
Ooh,
be on
shit.
that bullshit. But I mean, there are a lot that is on that bullshit like that. That
It's
sounds
gonna be
like some shit.
a bunch, and I'm gonna hashtag Atlanta too for this shit.
Because the
And
next one was I was gonna say was St. Louis, because they be on that bullshit in St. Louis like that too.
but I bet you'd be a bunch of chicks from Atlanta in the comments talking about like, what's wrong with that? If he a real man, he ain't gonna have no problem paying that bill.
What the? Okay, yeah, and they can stay single and on that bullshit. That's ridiculous. That is absolute. You brought 23 other people. Here's the
That's
problem.
that's bananas.
Here's the problem. You testing me. Why the
Right.
fuck are you testing me? We supposed to be trying to get to know one another. I
I
don't
didn't
need
know
to.
they I didn't know they rode like that in China. Like I didn't know I have this image of China and that's not it. Like
Well, I mean, I can see how they roll. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, it's a lot of people, but still, like, it's a wonder. Because it's China. It's a wonder he didn't haul off and slap her.
oh, because
Like,
she had 23 family members with her. That's why. So what I think was smooth as fuck is he took that shit in stride. It was like, all right, I'm about to order this food. I'm about to eat my meal. I'll be right back. I'm gonna run to the bathroom real quick.
I'm going to the bathroom.
And dipped on their ass. Like, you can pay for my shit too. So now y'all stuck.
$3,100.
And
God.
I can't imagine how a bill goes down in China. Like if you can't pay it, like how does that work?
You come up missing again. People
Yeah.
think all these other places are democratic type societies. They're not. That's why I'm like, it's a shocking thing. $3,100. Oh yeah, she. I don't know about her family members, but she became part of some shit that you see in Taken. Put it that way. $3,100.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know. And what I'm interested in is how she looks. I'm gonna try and Google it as I'm talking about the next one. But shit,
Mm-mm.
that is some wild shit. She better be bad thinking she can get that off.
Oh no. She working that off. It's just a different type of work. I'm telling you right now. She was sitting there going, I've made a horrible mistake here. I completely overplayed my hand. And they was like, yes, come with me. Follow me. The family is like, hey, where you taking her? You may go now. I'm just telling you. Wow. That's amazing. Well, good for him. Good for him. There's all the Atlanta girls are like, what you trying to say about Atlanta? Okay.
Yeah. So I guess so. Their date took place at a restaurant in the Eastern Chinese province. According to a local paper there, it had been his mom who had set up the meeting. It was a blind date after being concerned about his lack of a dating life. In a hope to impress his date, he agreed to pay for the meal, not realizing that her entire extended family would be joining. The woman then explained to local media that she had wanted to test her date's generosity before committing to a relationship. He said, look, while I was happy to pay for a small portion of the meal, he insisted that the woman and her family should be paying for their share. Completely understandable. And so, uh, yeah, there's no picture of what she looked like, though.
Yeah, I would have been straight up with her. Like, look, you got me fucked up. Hey, what's my last name? What's my middle name? Did I tell you what high school I went to? Matter of fact, what the fuck is your last name? I don't know any of this shit. You expect me to pay for all them motherfuckers over there? Not gonna happen, lady. Not gonna happen. You need to stop buying these motherfucking appetizers. I'm gonna tell you that right damn now. I'm
No,
gonna tell you
he
this.
did it the right way. He should have. Like, all right, okay. Y'all go ahead and order y'all shit. I'll be right back.
Mm-hmm.
In approximately never 30.
Never
So
old clock.
right, shit. So that was one. So the other one was I know you've seen this shit. It's not that obscure. This Alec Baldwin shit, right? Like
Yeah, man. This shit
this,
getting crazy about a day though.
somebody getting sued. First off, like, I want y'all to know that as a personal injury lawyer, like hearing the facts of that shit. Now, Alec Baldwin, personally, from a criminal perspective, obviously is not culpable. I mean, that's not a criminal action. But since it was his production company, I think they're absolutely on the hook because apparently this. So you probably know this better than I do. You probably explain it better. But my understanding is on these sets, they have people who are strictly responsible for loading these type of guns. If they're using blanks or they're using different type, whatever type of bullets, which I'm amazed that 2021 that we're still out here using prop guns and shit rather than just using, digital editing. But whatever. Apparently, go ahead.
It costs a lot more for the digital editing. That's the problem. From a financial standpoint, to do all of that really would cost the actual movie house way more.
Much easier to shoot and kill somebody.
Right, right. I mean, the funny part is, and which is not funny, haha. The irony to it is, this is almost the exact situation that happened with Bruce Lee's son. Yeah, with Brandon Lee. And that's been over 25 years or so, almost 30 years. And all the stuff they learned from that, you would think this would never be a situation. But that's why I said this story gets funnier by the day, because a lot of this happened because of negligence. It appears.
Negligence.
Yeah.
Well, pure negligence. Yeah. Apparently the chick who's responsible for this, like, she was on a podcast prior to this talking about she didn't feel like she was qualified to be on some other set. And she was scared to death that she was going to fuck some shit up, basically. That's my understanding.
Right.
So there's and people had quit this particular set because they were worried about the safety on that particular set. So in the legal world, there's enough notice here to somebody that some shit's going to happen to the point where you can attribute negligence to whoever's in charge, which is Alec Baldwin's company. So civilly speaking, somebody's going to be held responsible. But it's interesting because that you bring up Brandon Lee, because that's the first thing I thought about when this happened. And so I remember hearing about the Brandon Lee shit at the time, and I remember there was a bunch of conspiracy theories. People were like, "Oh, it was a setup that he had some debt to the mob, and the mysterious circumstances of his father dying." Like, people it was a whole bunch of shit flying around.
Right.
But when I looked into actually what happened, so apparently what happened in the Brandon Lee case was, I'm not sure if it was a blank or what type of.
Yeah, it was a blank. It was a blank. So
it's supposed to be a blank.
Yeah, blanks are still projectiles. They're still ammo. Like, so for people who don't shoot any type of gun, blanks are still ammo. They still fire out of the gun. And depending on the feet per second of the actual trajectory of that ammo, it can still kill you. So it's not a situation where it's just a cap gun and it makes a sound. No, shit still flies out of it. It just doesn't have a full load of powder. But go ahead.
Yeah, so in Brandon Lee's case, it was a prop gun, and what happened was there was a piece of a piece of a casing that got stuck in the gun, and when whatever the blank was or whatever they were using, when they fired it, that projectile is what ended up actually killing him because it had been stuck in the weapon. They didn't properly clean it or clear it prior to that particular. And what's fucked up is I guess they were filming at the time and they thought he was acting when he was fucking shot.
Yeah, right.
Which is
literally dying.
Crazy. Which is crazy as fuck. So like, can you imagine? I mean, so this Alec Baldwin shit, like, it's like, how traumatizing that is that as an actor, you're handed what you believe to be a gun that's safe, and you're just acting, and you shoot and kill somebody, and then wound another person. Like, I mean, I don't know how you recover from that shit. Like,
yeah, that's traumatizing. I know mentally he's probably dealing with a lot that a lot of people don't. People sensationalizing this, but he's probably dealing with a lot mentally. There's somebody that is not here because of him. And it was because of negligence, or it appears. I keep saying appears because I know they've got to go through some type of case or whatever, but it appears it's pure negligence. And folks, there's a reason why these unions in entertainment are the way they are, because there's safety to this. Like, you have to be safe on the front end, meaning the safety of the actors are important, but on the back end, the safety of everybody making that fucking film. Like, you don't know how many people are on set per day to make an actual Avengers movie. You know, there are people that need to come to work and be safe. And
Right.
these things are in place for that very reason. So if you're trying to save a buck, save a overtime call with the union, because the stage employees union is the IATSE union. I used to be a part of that union. So like if you're trying to save overtime and you cutting corners and you doing it, this is the type of shit that happens when you cut corners. And that's, you know, somebody's gonna pay for that. Plain and simple.
Right.
Somebody's gonna pay for that. So yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's crazy. And it sounds like this person wasn't qualified. So I didn't even, I mean, I've learned more about this shit than I ever cared to know about, but I didn't realize they had, it makes sense that you'd have a person dedicated to that particular role of making sure that there's no live ammunition on the set. I just don't, what I don't understand is how, what circumstance you'd have that you would want to have a live weapon, a live actual gun. Like, I don't, that I
Oh,
don't understand at all.
in just plain old, you know, any gun, even if you use it as a prop or not, any gun needs to be viewed as a live.
Treated as loaded, right?
Yeah, treated as loaded.
And that's the, and that.
Yep.
But beyond that, I'm trying to figure out why there would be a gun on set that had an actual bullet in, because this appears to have actually had live ammo.
Right. So sometimes it's used for the reaction. I mean, like the most famous example I can give is the reaction in Boys in the Hood when they actually used a live AK when they were, you know, in the street, and that scene where they were just walking up and down the street with the cars and everybody's kind of gathered in the street and that AK went off. That AK went off and fucking AKA's got me saying this shit. But that
Right.
AK went off and Cube hops in the car, jacks it up, and everybody peels out. That was a live, those were live rounds. And those live rounds were used to get an honest reaction from everybody on set so that they were truly scared. And that's what you saw. You saw people running for real. So there are times when it's used for that type of situation.
Except we know better now, right? Like,
well, yeah,
I mean,
yeah. But
so in this circumstance, yeah, I mean, it is what it is, but it's just seems very dumb to me, very stupid.
Especially when it's a movie, like it's
right.
it's for play,
right?
Like the people who knock me for wrestling, like I'm like, you know, these movies are just as for play.
Right.
As wrestling. One is just done in a live setting. The other is done over a course of 22 days.
So. Shit is wild, man. Like super wild. Like, so it's gonna be interesting to see how this shit plays out. But I'll tell you right now, as a personal injury lawyer, somebody's getting, that family of the person who passed is gonna get super paid. Not just, I'm not implying that somehow that matters more than having their family member back, but somebody's definitely responsible here. And unfortunately, the civil system, the way we hold people accountable is either through reform, adding that to compensation. So, you know, sorry for that family for losing a family member for some stupid ass shit that could have been avoided.
Right.
That's the part is that this is not a circumstance where this should have happened. I got a couple. I think I just got one more. So what the fuck? Apparently, recently, a woman and her husband in Virginia just got sentenced to jail, federal prison, federal time, for a counterfeit coupon scheme, where they had basically cheated a number of manufacturers out of over $31 million in Virginia. So the feds got a hold of this shit. So basically, so what was happening was, this woman she was a graphic designer, and she was figuring out how to basically design her own coupons for different manufacturers down to the barcode and shit. And apparently they were tight enough to the point where they would pass muster initially, but eventually, for whatever reason, they would catch them eventually. But I mean, she was creating these coupons. She was entering into like social media groups and chats and shit like that, and sending these coupons on to folks. She was doing it all really clandestine because she was doing it. She was getting paid through cryptocurrency, which probably would have been the first clue that some shit was up. When somebody was like, "Oh, you want to buy these coupons for Kroger? I'm just gonna need you to buy that in Bitcoin and Ethereum." That shit don't make sense to me. Like, I got to buy this buy one get one free hot dog coupon with cryptocurrency. Like, there's something ain't on the up and up. So, but who the fuck knew? Apparently, there is a organization that tracks coupons, and they track this shit. So, and I think they're a
Wow.
division of the FBI. FBI has divisions for everything, dog. Like, so
So
apparently,
just for you folks to understand, the FBI is the Federal Bureau of Investigation. I'm just
so,
like, I don't know what you think they are, but that's what they do.
so apparently, one of these manufacturers reported this shit to whatever the coupon clearinghouse is or the local field office for the FBI. And they were like, we've lost over $150,000. We think somebody's creating this shit. And once the feds get on your ass, they do a lot of investigating. I mean, they're really good at their job, obviously, they're the feds. But I mean, this chick was apparently hard to track down. But long story short, so not long story short, but end of the story is she gets tried and she got sentenced to 12 years in federal prison. Her husband got sentenced to 7 years for benefiting from the criminal enterprise. So because he knew about it and he benefited from it. And she was buying houses and shit. And I think she made about $400,000 off this scheme over the course of like 3 years. So I mean, what's crazy is apparently they made a movie like almost exactly to the point about this shit. Like, not I don't even know if it was based off of this. It was supposed to be a comedy, and I just saw it pop up on my shit, and I think it's a fairly recent movie. I was like, go figure. And this chick gets sentenced, like, because it sounds like some funny shit, right? Like, I'm gonna make some fucking coupons and I'm gonna get paid off this shit. I never would have. I mean, you almost have to admire her vision, like, because who would have known that a coupon empire would have yielded that much money? But hey, fuck it. I mean, she gave it a shot, but she eventually lost.
Yeah, clearly. Jesus Christ. Once the
Yeah, man.
feds come knocking at your door, you
That's
best believe they already got enough to get you.
look, and how sick of a feeling is that when you get the feds at your door, like, damn, over some coupons, like you gonna go into prison, like people gonna be like, "What'd you get wrapped up for? I killed somebody. Oh, what you get wrapped up for? I embezzled millions of dollars. What you get wrapped up for? Well,
Cocaine.
I engaged in a coupon scheme which cheated manufacturers over $32 million over the course of 3 to 4 years. Like, there's probably a level of respect for the folks who really do that fraudulent shit, but hey, good luck
Right.
to you. Um, and I'm gonna throw one more with the fuck and we get the fuck out of here. Uh, so you remember that white chick that got killed or they discovered and they were trying to find her boyfriend, right?
Right.
Brian Laundrie or whatever. So they were trying to find it as apparently they found his body dead. They discovered his body in Florida someplace. So like I don't know if he killed himself because remember they were thinking that he killed her.
Right.
And this is all the shit because people was going super crazy about this white girl that got missing. But so
Sound like he was into some shit and she was collateral damage.
who knows? I mean, I don't know if he was killed by somebody else. Maybe it could have been a serial killer or he killed her and ended up killing himself. I don't know that they've really reported what exactly the cause of death was, but
I heard it
um,
was Kyle Rittenhouse.
well, he's not a victim then. So
So this gentleman is not a victim whatsoever. Yeah.
right. So, but hey, that's all I got. I mean, it felt like a bunch of shit. I kept reading shit. I'm like, damn. I kept sending my shit notes. Like, I'm like, damn, I'm about to talk about this shit too. Like, so, but fuck it.
Well,
Been fun.
let me talk
Go
about
ahead.
one. I know everybody like, damn, how many of these damn what the fucks they got? We got as
Hey,
many as we got.
as many as we want. Shit.
That's exactly how we go do it. So my what the fuck now that you made me think about it is this 75 NBA players. So this is the diamond season of the NBA and
75, that's 76. But go ahead.
yeah, 75 and 76. So here's the deal. There's a lot of people upset at some of the names that were left off the 75 top NBA players of all time. I'm actually not, balls to the wall upset. I do not see why some of these names are left off. And I'm part of the group of people that think we need to revisit the top 50 first. Now, the way this went down, y'all, is they basically took the NBA 50, the half a century players or whatever that happened way back in the day. They basically took them and kept them. And then they had 25 spots. So all the people that they left off the 50 that everybody got mad about, they threw on. So now you got less than 25 spots to add new generational players. And within that, they left off some pretty prominent names. Now, you can say what you want about them in their later years, but it doesn't take away from what they did in the first years of their career. And quite frankly, some of them are still in their prime. And I think some of them are left off the same reason Isaiah Thomas got left off the goddamn Dream Team, because you motherfuckers don't like him. That's that's why he's left off. But the numbers support him not being left off. So there's a lot going on there, and I just think it's a what the fuck that you didn't revisit the first top 50, because now that you got a sizable sample of players over the course of 75 years, you can leave off some of these original old ass decrepit white dudes that was shooting in peach fucking baskets and shit. Them motherfuckers gotta go.
I'm looking through the number now. I'm trying to see, okay, because I've got a list here of new guys. So count these as I say them. So we got Giannis is included. He's new.
Okay, that's one.
Carmelo is new.
2.
Steph Curry is new.
3.
Anthony Davis is new.
4.
Kevin Durant is new.
5.
James Harden is new.
6.
LeBron James is new.
7.
Kawhi Leonard and Damian Lillard are new.
All right, 8 and 9.
Dirk Nowitzki.
10.
Chris Paul.
11.
Dwayne Wade.
12.
And Russell Westbrook, which is hilarious.
13. So there was 12. There was 12 guys left off the 50, is what you're saying. Yeah.
Right. And I don't even know who. I mean, Dolph Shays. Who the fuck is that? You got Dolph Shays, Bob Pettit, and there's some old ass motherfuckers listening. Like, what you know about Bob Pettit?
Bob Pettit didn't have a 3-point line. Now, if Bob Pettit is still 17th on the scoring list with no 3-point line, we need to revisit that and say, oh, right. Well, Bob Pettit might need to stay.
Right.
Yeah.
George Mikan still in this joint.
George,
people, they hold him pretty. I always hear that shit, but I mean, and everybody knows about the Mikan drill and all that shit. But,
yeah.
I don't know.
I think you take Luke Walton. I think you take Bill Walton off.
You can't take Bill Walton off. He was a baller.
When he was healthy,
I would put Bill Walton on there before I put George Mikan on there. Pete Maravich was a straight up hooper. He should be on there.
Pistol Pete stays.
Candidly, I don't know Hal Greer, so I don't know who that is. So I have to look at that one. Let's see. Dave DeBoucher, Dave Cowens. And somebody's gonna be like, now, he's naming all the white guys.
Well, hell yeah, we naming all the white guys. So Dave Cowens. Now here's the thing, Dave Cowens, you know him as the old Charlotte Hornets coach.
Right.
I don't know how good of a player, like in that regard, top 50 of all time. I don't know if Dave Cowens is in that list to me, but they would say Bill Bradley stays on the list too, right? Is Bill Bradley on the list? Who later became an actual U.S. senator, but
Bill Bradley is not on the list.
Oh, okay. Shocking. They love Bill Bradley.
It's mostly brothers. I mean, the white boys are on here for the most part. I mean, John Stockton, he deserves to be on there. I think Bill Walton deserves to be on there. Jerry West, he should be on there.
But if you had to take, okay. All right, so let's name a person that they left off. Dwight Howard.
He's top 75 player.
if you go by his first
What?
5-6 years,
not
not the last 5-6 years.
I got it. He's not a top 75 player. You need longer, sustained success.
Okay, over AD. I'm saying if you looking at longer, if you looking at that,
well,
Dwight's numbers and AD's numbers.
Let's look.
That's. I'm like,
Let's look. So we got. He's been in the league since 2012. AD has.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. That's 9 years. He is. His first year was the year he averaged least. Averaged 13.5. He hasn't averaged under 20 since. He hasn't averaged under 10 well, it's been a couple years he's been under 10 rebounds since, but for the most part, his whole career he's averaged 10 rebounds. He's almost always shot at least 50% from the field. So that's AD.
Mm-hmm.
Dwight Howard, career stats. He's been around since 2004. He is definitely, I mean, the scoring averages are definitely not even close. I mean, he's averaged 16.1 over his career. He started off in his first 3 years not averaging more than 17. He's only had 4 seasons where he's averaged over 20. His field goal percentage is higher, but he also only shot around the basket. He's averaged more rebounds, but and then obviously since
that matters for him. He ain't like he's 6'3".
Right. So I mean, since 2015, he's been trash.
That's what I said. His last 6 years has just been horribly. It's been garbage. I get that.
So that's basically. So he's been in 2004. And I felt like he was almost out of the league a couple years injured, but they played 9 games in 2018. But yeah, I don't think it's close. I mean, I think I can see why AD is up there above him.
They both over Dave Cowens.
That's true.
they both over.
But we're gonna have to explore that list.
Yeah.
We'll bring in some other folks. We'll have to dig into that list a little more. But I don't think Dwight Howard is the top 75 player.
Wow. That's interesting.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Fuck it.
yeah, it is what it is. So, now people like,
shit.
No, dig into it now. But fuck it, we will later.
Yeah, we will. So, but shit, hey, been fun. Shit, go ahead and take us out. Let them know what they need to let them know.
Yep.
Shit, I'm not even drinking. Let them know what they need to know, Greg.
Of course he's not
drinking water. I'm drinking water today. Like, this was crazy. So
yeah, check the YouTube. He is drinking water. So
yeah,
all right.
You can see it.
As always, subscribe. We are the All Out of Fucks podcast, and guess what? We on Apple, we on Spotify, we on SoundCloud, we on Stitcher, we on Libsyn, we on Instagram, we on Twitter, we on Audible, and as always, he's pointing at Purdue. We always on Purdue. Boiler up, and we all out of fucks.
We all out of fucks. We're hollering, y'all. Peace. Boiler up.